We'll go ahead and start. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for coming. As people filter in, we appreciate certainly you guys taking some time with us to hear this morning. And many of you have done this every other month for the last 3 months, so we certainly appreciate it. Hopefully, these have been valuable for you. I know they've been valuable for our channel partners and for ourselves. So, by way of introduction, on this, from a panelist standpoint, you have myself. I'm the president of the ITS and traffic group. My client, you got Maxwell Thompson, who is in our technical services group. And he's going to be doing, Max is going to be doing a PowerPoint presentation to start. He's going to go through some feature sets in the presentation, talk about, he's going to open it. You'll be able to see it. He'll show you how to navigate through it. Also, then we'll do a live connection into the website, into the page. Subi, who's with our live power group, engineering group, will actually be doing a live demo on today's subject. Today's subject is double conversion, our EDP series, our double conversion power supplies. As always, if you have any questions, if you're new to this or if you've done this a couple times, please put your questions into the chat box and we will get to them at the end of the session. We should have time for Q&A at the end of the session. Please hold any live questions you might have. Just write them into the chat box as they come up and we'll get to them. But let's get through the presentations and the demonstrations. Additionally, just from a standpoint of this particular webinar, it'll be like the others after it takes a period of time to actually get the recording done. We will then post it onto our webpage, and we'll show you, when we send out the emails to the channel partners, we'll have the links and how to get to the webpage so you can forward them on to any prospective customers. And we will also have a listing of individuals who have registered for this webinar for any follow-up. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to Max, and we'll get started. Thank you.
Hey, thank you for the introduction, Mike. Without any further ado, let's just jump into the PowerPoint, going over the EDP series double conversion power supplies. So I have this page at the start of every power supply PowerPoint we do, because we do have the two different lines. We have the line interactive and the double conversion series. So double conversion differs from line interactive. We like to consider it like a tier up from line interactive because it has a much shorter transfer time when it does enter into inverter mode. Just going through the bullet points here. So it utilizes line voltage to convert your AC into high voltage DC voltage, and then inverts it back to AC from that. And it does that using a series of transformers inside of the unit. It has a shared common DC bus for the inverter and the charger. That'll be pointed out on the front panel when we get to the live demo. Output voltage is isolated from the line voltage. So what this does is it provides a good degree of separation. If you have noise or any kind of bad power coming in through your AC input, then that is going to be completely isolated from your output and whatever your load is. And it does have a wide input voltage and frequency range. So the range is on the output is not load dependent. The EDP double conversion UPS series of power supplies, it provides fully regulated, filtered, and regenerated AC output power to operate traffic signals, conflict monitors, camera equipment, lighting, and a whole range of additional applications in Department of Transportation's and ITS or intelligent traffic systems. These power supplies are designed to normally power an intersection or highway system from the commercial AC utility line while maintaining an emergency battery in a state of full charge. So for our EDP double conversion series, we have the three different models to choose from. We have the EDP 1000, 1500, and the 2000. The 2000 is what we have for our live demonstration here today after I'm done with our PowerPoint. And respectively, each of those units has output capacities of 700 watts, 1100 watts, and 1400 watts. The battery backup time for these units is up to 8 hours or longer. Again, that's going to be depending on what kind of battery string you have connected to it. And the output frequency is matched with the AC input frequency. So while the output voltage is dynamically regulated at 120 volts AC over the entire input voltage range. The main usage for these is going to be during voltage brownouts, spikes, or failures. The inverter will automatically start drawing power from your battery string and provide a regulated output to still make sure that whatever your load is provided power during those situations. If the output is overloaded for an extended period while it is in line mode, then the UPS will enter a bypass state. The inverter will be bypassed entirely, and the output power will be powered directly from your line. So going through the LCD panel on the front, this is going to be an overview of the operation of the unit. On the very front panel, you're going to see options for your performance menu, history, battery status, configuration, and firmware. Each of the 4 buttons right below the LCD panel, it's kind of just like your buttons on a keyboard. The furthest to the left is going to be your return or your back button. The next one over to the right will move your cursor to the right to select a new menu item. The one next to that is to move into the currently selected submenu. And then the one on the furthest right is going to be your enter key. So that'll enter any changes to your current menu item. Going into the performance menu first, the performance menu displays the current measured operating conditions for various parameters of the UPS. So going through that, you'll see information like your AC in, AC out, your battery voltage and amperage, and also your AC or your frequency in too. On the history page, this is where you're mainly going to see what you would commonly call your event log. So you can go through and see a wide range of events that have occurred with the UPS. So if you have any faults or alarms, you can go through this page and see exactly when that fault or alarm occurred, and also looking at the event code for it, which is going to be a 4-letter combination. You can see exactly what happened at that time. On this page, you can see we have a table for those alarm abbreviations. This table is also going to be in the embedded web page and also in the manual for the EDP series, which I will link at the end of the webinar. On the battery status page, it'll give you more amplifying information about the battery that you have connected to the UPS. So it'll show you the current measured battery voltage. It'll show you the charge state of it, the charge status. It will have temperature if you have the temperature probe connected to the front of the UPS. In the configuration menu is where you're going to make the majority of your changes to the UPS. These are where all of your user configurable options are. So this is where you can change the internal date for the UPS and also your time. You can configure the battery timer. You can configure the IP address of the unit, which is very important, as I will show you coming up shortly. You will need that to get this on an internal network or connect to the embedded web page on it. And then also on the firmware menu, which is the last one, it'll show you the version of firmware that your unit is on, and it'll provide you the date and time that the firmware was loaded onto the unit. For the embedded web page, What you're going to do is you're going to connect an Ethernet cable straight into the Ethernet port, which is on the front of the UPS next to the LCD screen. If you do have a brand new unit, then the default IP address for that unit is going to be 192.168.001.210. And I will show you right now how to get to that embedded web page. There we go. So this is the main menu of the embedded web page. Pull it up and refresh it. So the first thing you're going to see when you pull it up is the system status page. This will give you a lot of the same information that you could get from the LCD screen, but it is a lot easier to navigate. I know a lot of technicians that I've talked to in the field prefer working on their UPSs through the embedded web page rather than the front LCD panel. So you'll on this front system status page, you're going to see your AC in and AC out. You're going to see your battery voltage, how many amps you're drawing. You're going to get alarm statuses. It'll show you any alarm codes that are popping up, whether it be AC overload or if your temperature probe is disconnected. I'll show you where to find the meanings for all those alarm codes on a later page. So after system status, we have the settings. This is where you can configure some of the settings inside of the embedded web page. This is where you can modify the internal clock of the unit. It's where you can set your timer for the EDP 2000 itself. And this is also where you can enable a self battery test. So with this self battery test, what it's going to do is automatically enter into inverter mode and start drawing power from your battery string, just to ensure that your battery string is healthy if and when you do need to use it. Relays and reporting. So we do have the 5 dry contact relays on the front of the UPS, and these are configurable. All you need to do is click on which relay you want and set it 1 through 5. It's pretty straightforward, straight out of the factory. Relay 1 is set to condition 1, which is on battery or inverter mode. Relay 2 is condition 2, and so on and so on. So we have on battery, time elapsed, low battery, battery temperature, which is if your battery temperature is out of range, and then also if you have no AC output or another severe issue. And Subi will show you the dry contact relays when we get to the live demonstration. Here in events is where it would show you if any events have occurred. We don't have any at the moment, so it's not showing. But if you go to the event log, it'll show you the history of the events for the UPS. So you will see it shows that four-letter code, and you can reference the table in the help page for what that 4-letter code exactly means. It'll show you the date and time that event happened. And we do have an option, if you click on printer friendly up here, it'll format it into a printer friendly document. That'll make it a lot easier to print out. Network time protocol. So if you have this on your internal server and you want to have the internal time match the time of that server, then this is where you would configure that. You need to enable NTP, enter in the server, and then if you need to offset it at all. Our daylight savings time configuration page. This is where you can enable or disable daylight savings time for the unit, and then enter in the dates that it would start and end at. Here on email configuration, this is where you would configure if you want the UPS to send email alerts to another account that you have on that server. So contact and location are descriptor info for like who the primary contact for that unit would be and where it's located at. But then you would enter in the username and password and the server and email addresses. This is where you can set up to send a test email to make sure that you have everything set up right. A lot of the same information as the last page. Here on network configuration, this is where you can change the internal IP address of the unit. You can set its gateway and subnet mask, and then also its primary and secondary DNS. So this one, it doesn't have the current factory default IP address. We changed this one to a 192.168.100.1. You can see that we changed that here in the IP address bar, and then also at the top of the web browser is where you would enter in that IP address to access this page, the 192.168.100.1. Here on SNMP configuration, this is where you can configure your SNMP protocols for the unit. You have read and write communicates 1 through 3. Here you have your SNMP ports, so you can set your SNMP agent and SNMP NMS, and then also your first and second IP addresses here at the bottom. For authorization, this is where you can change the username and password to access the web page of the unit. If you do not want to require a username and password to access it, you can disable authorization also. By default, and I believe this says this in the manual as well, the username is going to be user, all lowercase, and your password is going to be multi-link, all lowercase. It is highly recommended to change that on a first-time installation. Here on the help page, it'll show you the default IP settings for the unit. So you can see we have that default IP address, the 192.168.1.210. It'll show you how to reset the unit if you cannot access it anymore and you need to reset to that default IP address. It'll give you some notes on configuring the SNMP for the unit. And then also at the bottom, you have that table, just like in the manual. It'll show you exactly what each of those alarm codes mean. So just for example, if you see at the top, you have the AC high alarm. If your AC input was too high, then you would see ACHA when it would detect that state. And when it would recover and that alarm goes away, you would see ACHR instead. So that's a quick overview of the embedded web page and all of the configurable settings and statuses that you can view inside of it. In just a couple seconds here, I'm going to turn it over to Subi from our power engineering group to give a live demonstration of the unit.
Hello, this is Subi from Power Engineering Department, Multilink. So I'm gonna give a live demonstration of a double conversion UPS series EDP 2000, which provides fully regenerated, filtered, and regulated AC source to operate applications using DOT and ITS. So this is the EDP 2000 sitting on our setup and which works on nominal 120 voltage, 60 Hertz, which is connected to the 48-watt lithium iron phosphate battery and is connected to its own BMS. So let's jump into the section 2, which I'm gonna give the live demo of the operations and especially regarding the cold start option, which is available in this product. So let's jump into it. The section 2, which is I divided into the connection setup and the explanation of how the product works and the operation and regarding the cold start. So this is the connection setup we made into, and this is our product EDP 2000. And this is the lithium iron phosphate battery 48 volts. And you can see we got the power analyzer, which analyzes the input voltage, output voltage, input current, and output current. And we got a variable transformer here to give the variable AC source so that I can give 0 AC source or else 120 volt of AC source. And if you followed by this setup, I got a flooded bulb, which is acting as an output load, which is underneath the table. And yeah, let's let's go into the explanation of the product real quick. So this is about EDP 2000. As I said, this is the double conversion UPS. As the name implies, there will be a 0.0 milliseconds difference will be happening when converting the AC source into DC source. For real quick, there will be an interruption of milliseconds when the AC source is failed to give the output source. But in this product, there won't be a 0.0% of millisecond wastage, because it, as the name implies, it converts the AC source into DC, which charges the battery, and we are getting the output power from the battery. So if there is a failure in AC, which doesn't troubles output source getting the clean, uninterrupted power supply all the time. So this feature will be very useful when handling the critical applications in DOTs and ITS. So let's jump into the operation. And let me give you the real quick explanation of the LCD menu, which will be using for accessing the menu, other stuff. And this is the LCD menu. I just lighted it off. And this is the output status. This is the battery status and inverter status and UPS alarm status indicators where it got the LEDs. And if it goes green, it's good. If it goes off, then it's fault. And if it's blinking, there is another indication of the alarm where we can follow from the menu. And this is the Ethernet port where we can connect this product with the laptop so that we can access over the internet. That is with the Ethernet communication, like status monitoring. This is the drive contacts where we can see the labeled of cold start, on battery, timer, low batteries, battery temperature, UPS status, where it will be connected in the cabinet indicators where we can have the indications. And this is the temperature probe, battery temperature probe, where it will be connected to the battery string so that we can analyze the temperature of the battery. And this is the terminal for the battery to go into the product. And this is the breaker for the AC, which is a 20 amps one. And here we come, which got the two outlet, which can works on 120 VAC, 60 Hertz and 20 amps max. And here comes the main connection where the line in neutral ground goes. And you can see the clamp which reads the input current. And let's start the operation of checking the inverter mode. So as I said you early, it's doing a double conversion where it won't convert the AC into output current, output voltage, where it gets power only from battery. Let me crank the AC to 0 so that you can see we will be getting the continuous 120 voltage all the time, even though we got the AC failure. Let's jump into the live demonstration. So I'm cranking it down. The AC is reducing. It's 108 V AC in. I'm reducing it. It's 62 voltage in VAC. I'm reducing it to 0. It's 48 VAC. And I literally turned off the AC. That is the AC failure, 0 voltage. You can see the 0 voltage, that is 7.25 millivoltage as the input voltage, but still we got the output of 120 voltage during the whole process of making the AC failure. So I'm giving the AC back. Let me turn it on. And you don't see any interruption with the output voltage. That's a feature we need to have when dealing with the critical applications in DOT and ITS. That's advantage with the double conversion too. So I cranked it up, 87 voltage now. I'm trying to get 120, 98 voltage now in. Yeah, we got the input voltage of 120 voltage, output voltage of 120 voltage. And we got the input current of 2.5 amps and we got the output current. So it's working good and it's working as the way it is. And the last operation I'm going to show is the cold start, where we can turn on our product even though there is the AC failure. Typically, we don't need a AC to turn on the this double conversion UPS. Literally, we can use this setup with a battery which is synced to the UPS in any remote place. Like, let me turn off the AC and show you the process involved in cold start. So I cranked the AC voltage. It should be in failure state now. Yes, input voltage is 99.4 millivolts, which is nil. So I'm turning the battery off first. I'm making it open. You can see the UPS went off because there is a failure of AC voltage, and we turned off the battery too. So let me do the cold start with the battery on again, because please make sure when you're doing a cold start, the battery has to be closed. That is, the battery has to be turned on, and we need a jumper pin, a jumper wire, like a simple jumper wire, which will make the magic to happen. And so on. Let me turn this off. So this is the dry contact. I'm trying to touch the pin 1 and pin 2. Let's wait for 3 seconds. Here we go. We got it live back, even though we got a AC failure, so that we can get started anywhere in the remote place. Yes, by this way, we can ensure that we provide uninterrupted, clean, regulated, filtered AC source to the critical applications in Department of Transportation and Intelligent Traffic Systems. I make my buddy Max to carry on from here.
That concludes our section of the webinar. I'm going to turn it back over to Mike Klein for some closing comments.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. This is we're ending a little bit early today, and these things typically go for an hour. Please reach out to your regional sales manager or myself if you have any questions about the product, and we'll be happy to get you the answers if we don't know them offhand. And with that, we're going to close up a little bit early today. I'll give you back a half hour. We do have one more of these this year. It'll be in December, probably the week before everybody starts taking vacations, probably middle of the month. So it won't be exactly 2 months. And then this program will carry over into next year, similar cadence with every other month, with either new products or re-hitting some of these old products just to refresh everyone. With that, I appreciate everybody's time and attention, and everybody have a good afternoon, good rest of your week, and a good weekend. Take care.